Alright guys, so I'm outside of a 2019 Honda Pilot, and this is the touring model, but this is the 7-seater edition. So this is something new that Honda started offering. So I'm going to start you at the back of the car here and show you a couple things, and then we'll move forward. The first thing you'll notice is this warning right here, and it's letting you know about throwing your foot underneath the car. So to do so, if I have the key in my pocket, and I throw my foot right underneath the bottom, it'll pop it open for me so long as the key's in my pocket and it's acknowledging it there, right? So that's how that works. And then you can see I additionally have the spot on here I can press, along with on my key, I have a spot that I can press for it too. So on my key right here, I can do that. Now, when we move into the back of the car, the first thing I'm gonna show you is right here. You do have additional storage in here, so I can pop this open. I have hidden storage down here. Or if I wanna drop this, I absolutely can and create a little bit more storage that way. Now, on the back side of this is gonna be plastic, so I can flip it over and go plastic side up. If it makes life easier, I got something that's wet or something like that, I'm concerned about it. So know that that can work like that. Now, your back seats, throw them down. All I've got to do is pull right here, and I can lay it down. So I can do this with one hand and keep my phone on my camera right now. Then I'm gonna do the other side here too, just so you can get a better feel for this. And then I could, of course, lay that second row down in there too. So from here, you can see that I have the two captain's chairs and I have this small spot in between them as far as like a console. Now that console's not removable, so they'll have to step over it or step on it. So just keep that in mind, but it's easy to get around. So that's how it's going from the back of the car. While I'm back here, though, I'll point out a couple things too. I do have a power outlet back here. There are air vents in the third row. And of course, there's air vents in the second row, and you can see your controls up there, and I'll get up there here in just a second. But I wanted to just see what was going back here. Now, as far as this, there are tie-downs in this back, too. So if you needed to tie something down, you absolutely can. You've got tie-downs back there, and you've got them right there additionally, too. So know that you have them available to you if you need them. So let's go up to the second row. I'm going to throw my foot back under it, let this close back down. Then I'm actually going to show you something secondary here that we probably could have showed you from the get-go. So the car comes with a remote start. To use remote start, you always want to press the lock button first, and you're going to press and hold this remote start button, and that'll actually fire up the car for me. The car will run for 10 minutes. I can press it again and run it for 20, but that's how this works. And then if I accidentally started and realized I wouldn't be leaving, I could press the unlock button and then the remote start button, and it would turn the car off. So the second row here, let's show you what's going on back here. Okay. So, I've got the one-touch buttons here as far as throwing the seats forward, so I can press it, and it'll actually throw it forward for me. And you can see I have them in the second, for the third row guys too. And then I just slide this back. It is on a sliding rail system, so I can adjust how far it goes frontwards and backwards. Now, moving in here, you can see that center console I was talking about. And then you can see I do have the wireless headphones set up for my control system right here as far as the rear entertainment system Blu-ray player. I do have a remote control for it, which is right here, and then they do have control over it at the front on the touchscreen. Now down here, I do have control over my seats, and then my AC controls additionally too. Let me turn this down so it's not blowing right in the camera. Right below that, you can see that I do have an HDMI input as far as accessing the Blu-ray player. I can go that way. I can plug in 2 sets of headphones up here, and then hand the other headphones to the guys in the back. And I do have a power outlet up here too, along with 2 USBs to charge additionally too. So it's pretty cool what I've got going on from this standpoint. Now, I'm gonna move up into the front row and we'll show you the rest of the car. Oh, additionally, I got sunshades in the back here too, just so you know. Show you those. All right, now moving into the front. So I've used remote start to start this car. So the first thing you're gonna notice is that while the engine is on and the AC is on, nothing else is on in the car, right? It's gonna still ask me to put my foot on the brake and tap the start button to acknowledge the keys now in the car. So now you can see everything's gonna start coming on in the car, the screen, everything else, right? My audio just popped on, so that's how this works. So let's start on the left side and walk you across and explain what's going on with this car. So on the left side, you'll notice that I have power windows. My driver and passenger side are auto up and down, so I can tap them once. It'll send the window all the way down for me. Pull it up, it'll send it all the way up. Moving over onto the side, you can see I do have memory seating. To set it, all I do is get my seat adjusted, press set, and then press the 1 or the 2. Now keep in mind, that's gonna correlate with my keys. So I've got 1s and 2s on the back of my keys. So this is the driver 2 key, right? So just so you remember that. Moving over onto the dash, you'll notice the first thing is my mirror control. So I control left and right separate of each other, and then I can adjust the pad. Now, depending on where this is at, it's also gonna correlate with reversing. So if I throw the car in reverse right now and I have it pushed all the way to the left, I want you to watch my mirror. It's gonna adjust down for me. So if I set it over to the right, it'll do the right side instead of the left side. And if I have it in the center, it won't do either. So if you prefer it not to, it won't. Next to that is my Econ button. My Econ button will improve gas mileage of the car. So if I turn it on, you're going to see this green leaf come on up there. So you can see it down there above the 92 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, what that's going to do is improve gas mileage of the car. It's going to shut down some of the electrical systems in the front end of the car, though, affecting things like my AC unit on how hard it blows if I have it full blast. And also my accelerator, if I smash it to the floorboard, it's not going to take off and go quite as fast, so keep that in mind. Now, below that, this car does have parking sensors, so that's the first button you're seeing right there. Next to it, you see a car with some lines right here. This is road departure mitigation, so this is currently on, and it'll always be on unless you turn it off. Now, what that is if I start to drive off the side of the road, it's going to first give me an audible alert, and then it's actually going to shake the steering wheel to kind of remind me, hey, wake up, pay attention, in case I was starting to drift away to sleep. The button above that right here is going to be my collision mitigated braking system. Now, that's a fancy way of saying it uses radar and the camera in the front of the car to detect cars in front of it. If it's looking like I'm going to rear end them, first it'll alert me, and then it'll actually apply the brakes to help prevent the accident. So that's what that is. That's also always on unless I turn it off. Now, next to both of those buttons is vehicle stability assist. So this works with my traction control. So this is always on. If I would go into a skid, what it's designed to do is to transfer power to whichever wheel is getting better traction. So that's what it's for. The only time you'd want to turn this off is maybe you're stuck in the mud and you want to spin your tires because you're trying to get out. That's where this would come into play. All right, now moving up onto the dash. Or excuse me, I'll say the steering wheel. First thing I'm going to show you is right here. So my Bluetooth controls to answer a phone call, to hang up a phone call, and then to use voice command. This is going to work for saying, call so-and-so, that sort of thing. It's also going to work for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So, I can hold this down, and when I hear the beep for Siri, Siri, give me directions to such and such. Siri, text this person. Siri, call this person. That kind of thing. Same with OK Google as far as using Android-based head units, or excuse me, Android-based phones. So that's what this is going to work for. My plus and minus, or I should say my up and down right here, are going to control the menu screen up here, so I can toggle through some different things. While I've got this pulled up, I'll show you. I can pull up a tripometer, so I can get, my range down there is 236. That's how many miles I'm in this tank of gas, and I can see my previous trips. Below that, my phone, if I want to get my Bluetooth controls. Navigation, this is going to be my turn-by-turn direction, or a compass if you prefer to see one. Now playing, this will show me whatever's playing currently, so you can see the radio station that's going. Below that, my maintenance is going to be my oil life and my tire pressure. My tire pressure is going to be per tire, so it's kind of nice, and it tells you exactly how many, how aired up it is right now, so you can actually see the air pressure. And then your oil life, it'll give you a percentage. Oil life related to that, you're going to get about 8,500 miles before you need an oil change, so just keep that in mind if you're buying a Honda. Settings, so this is where I can arrange some apps as far as what shows, and I can turn the tachometer on and off, so if I don't want it showing up there, you can see now it's on, now it's off, just depends on what you prefer. If you like a little bit more clean look to everything. So that's what's going on from this screen. Alright, and then yeah, miles per hour or kilometers, or if I just want a black screen up there to kind of simplify things. My volume controls are the plus and minus right here. And then jump between tracks, or jumping to the next station, if I have favorite station saved, is right here. That home button is what brought up that menu, and then I was toggling through it there, and then select, and my back button, right? So moving over to the right side. This is where some of my Honda sensing features come into play. First thing I would want to make sure is the main button's on. If you've turned it on, it'll stay on every time you get in the car, so you'll see ACC and AKS. So that's what's flashing right there. Adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist. That's what those two stand for. Now, adaptive cruise control is going to use the radar in the front of the car and the camera, and it's going to detect the car in front of you. And so if you set your cruise control, so if I wanted to set it, press set. From there, I select the distance I want it to keep between me and the cars in front of me. And it'll be based off the boxes you see up there, and you'll see a car icon when it's detecting cars in front of you. So the more boxes there are, the more space it's going to leave. Okay? So once I have that set, it's going to detect the car in front of me, bouncing the radar off of it, and then if the car in front of me keeps slowing down, even though I have my my cruise set to a higher speed, it will keep that distance and slow me down until I can get out from around them, or they move out from in front of me. Now, lane keep assist is designed just what you see. It's going to detect the lines on the road using the camera, which is up in this box right up here. And when I start to drift a little bit to the left or right out of my lane, it's designed to help keep me in my lane. So it'll correct for me and pull the wheel to the left or right. So when I turn this button on, you're going to see these dotted lines come on here. So I'm making them flash at you right now. It's going to read the lines on the road from 45 miles an hour to 90 miles an hour. And if you have your windshield wipers on, it's not going to work. It's going to turn off. So this is a safety precaution. They want you to really focus on the road if it's raining. So what this is just designed to help you out. It's not a self-driving car. It's not going to drive the car by itself, but it's pretty darn close. It's going to do a lot of the things that a self-driving car would do. So it just kind of gives you an idea for where we're heading, but also understanding that these are just safety tools designed to help you. It's not going to drive the car. Now behind the steering wheel, you'll see I do have paddle shifters, my plus and my minus, so I can adjust when the car's shifting points are accessed if I want, you know, if I'm a little bit more of aggressive or more active driver. Now the car is set up for auto on-off headlights. You can see they're right there. Then my fog light controls are down here. I can turn them on and turn them off. So that's what is going on from there. And then my windshield wiper controls are over on this side. So my front, I just pull down to set them. And then my back, I'm going to use the tab up here to turn them on. And then it is intermittent, right? So it is a push button start along with a remote start, which I've already showed and explained to you. So you know what's going on there. So let's move over to the touchscreen. So on the touchscreen right now, you can see an assortment of buttons from the home screen. And I'll walk you through some of these and kind of explain what they are and how they work. But first, let's turn on the AC so it's not blowing right in the phone so you can hear me. So, navigation-wise, it's using Garmin. You also have access to your phone, so you can go that route if you want to. So if I wanted to search for somewhere, oops, helps if I hit the right button. It'll pull up some coordinates, whatever I just tapped in, which I just picked some coordinates on the map. So let's back out of that and go back to the search. So if I go to the search, which I can do this all by voice command too, it's going to give me some options here. I can set my home address in here to save, and then once I've set in addresses, I can save them too, and I can rename them too. So I could put, you know, my brother's address and then put, you know, my brother Bobby, you know, or I could put Dad or something like that. I can look at my current and previous trips and trends of things that I typically go and what are around me. So that's just how this works. It's a pretty simple setup. It's not hard to do. It's going to prompt you through and walk you through a lot of these things. So it should be pretty easy to understand. Garmin's pretty good at what they do. Customizing the map, there are some different options you have available to you as far as turning different buttons and screens off, affecting colors of the map and how much it shows and less. So you can go to settings and mess with all of this stuff right here. So map and vehicle, 3D mode is what it's set up in right now. If I wanted to change that to just tracking up or to always facing north, I could do it. I personally like the 3D mode, so I'm going to stay there. My map theme, you know, I have Honda's colors and I have the default set up, and there's a lot of other stuff you can select there. My mapping layer, so I'm not going to get too much into this. You get the understanding of it. My phone is going to access my Bluetooth once I've connected up a phone. How to connect up the phone. So I'm going to show you how to connect up a phone from here on out. That way, in case you already have one, you're going to go to Settings, then Connections. Then I want Bluetooth. From there, I want to add a Bluetooth device. From there, it's going to prompt me, and I'll walk through it. I'll make sure my Bluetooth is turned on my phone, and the two will search for each other. So that's how you connect a phone up to the car. So I'm going to back out of that screen. My rear entertainment controls are right here. So I'm going to hit OK to that. How much further is an app that will actually allow your kids to look at it and see how much further is on this trip if you have it set up through navigation. So this is actually kind of a cool app to play with. Cabin Talk allows me to talk to the people in the back, whether it be through the headphones or through the speakers. It'll project my voice back there. So it's just kind of nice so you don't have to yell at the kids in the back, or if it's adults. Remote, that's just, you know, the remote's disabled right now, so they wouldn't be able to play with that. So that's what I just turned off, and I can turn it back on. That way, if they're having issues or fighting over something, I can affect that. Now, moving along. Oh, some of the apps and different things you can use as far as, instead of just the Blu-ray player, some of the media server, Spotify, HDMI input to be able to plug in something else if I want, iHeartMedia, so some different options for that. My settings, I'll show you a couple things in here just so you know about it, and they're under vehicle. So this is going to be where I affect like door locks and things like that. So I'm going to scroll down here, and let's go to door setup first. Auto door lock, so right now the car is set to when I hit 10 miles an hour to automatically lock. When I'm getting out of my car, auto door unlock. Right now it's set up when I open my driver's side door, it'll then unlock the remaining doors of the car. So there's just some different features to keep in mind as far as that goes, related to those. And I'm going to back up one. I want to say keyless access setup is what we want. Yeah, walkway auto lock. So this is a really cool feature. It's currently turned off. I always like to turn it on. It's a really good feature. When I get outside of 10 feet from my car, if I have the key in my pocket, it can automatically lock the doors for me. And that's just designed if you're that person who gets halfway into the grocery store and realizes, oh man, I don't know if I locked it or not. This is the feature for you. Okay, so that's where it is. And it's in settings under vehicle, then you go to keyless access setup, and it's at the very bottom of the screen. So I'm going to jump back out of that. So let's get out of the settings. FM, I don't think I need to explain too much to that. It does set up for HD, so you do have additional stations you can listen to, not only just the regular stations, but the HD stations. Bluetooth audio, you can stream audio wirelessly. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so these are really cool features. It gives you access to your music, your messages, your navigation, just a lot of different things you can pull up on the screen. All you have to do is plug your phone into the USB, and it'll be the one right here with the phone on it, and it'll give you those access. So if you're an Android-based user, you'd have access to Google Maps and Waze right now. If you're an Apple user right now, I think you only have access to Apple Maps, but from my understanding, that's changing in like the next month, so keep that in mind. I'm going to scroll over a page here. Trip computer, that'll just show you that information that I can get over here additionally too. So it's stuff right there. Same info, just showing it in a different spot. Let's back out of that screen. Move back one over. Social playlist is a really cool feature. It allows everybody in the car to add songs off of their, to a playlist, so that you don't have to listen to only Dad's lame music. You can listen to a little bit of everybody's music, right? Sirius XM car comes with 90 days of this, and then afterwards it'd be up to you on if you want to continue it. So that's how this works. They give you a free trial. Moving over one more, USBs you can plug into as far as streaming music, system updates, aux input, that's just like your 9mm jack that you can plug directly into. The car does come with a hotspot. They give you 90 days worth, and then afterwards I want to say it's $8 a month if you want to continue it with AT&T. And then just to turn it on, you press the on button, it fires on, and then you just have to connect up. So not hard to do. You can see dealer demo set up right now. So that's how that works. Let's move back over here one more time. My Honda Music allows me to download music to it. Cabin Talk I went over briefly earlier. It allows you to speak to the guests in the back of the vehicle. So that's a good amount about the touchscreen. This is customizable, so I can move everything around. I press and hold, and then I just slide stuff around, and move it all over the place. And then once I like it, hit done. And then some of these things, if I want to turn off something, I can. So let's say I use Android-based phones, not Apple. I can just turn that off. And so that way it'll get rid of the icon, so now I don't have a wasted icon there. So that's just how it works. When I throw the car in reverse, it'll pull up my backup camera for me. So you can see I've got 3 different views down here. So a wide angle. There's somebody walking into my review camera right now. I've got a normal one. And then this is aimed straight down off the back bumper. So the dotted line is where the hatch opens to. And then that has 2.5 feet to 3 feet from your car as far as parallel parking. This car is set up with cross-traffic monitoring, which you can turn on and off. If it's on, it just means if somebody's coming from my left or right, it's picking up that golf cart that he just drove away in, it'll alert me. So that way I know that they're coming and which direction they're coming from. And if I had to pull it this way, I would have saw them too. So that's how that works. Moving down your AC controls, you can control left, right, and back separate of each other. And your controls are right here as far as controlling the back and then the front too. I'm not going to go too much over that. I think you can figure that part out. My Blu-ray player is right here, to eject and everything. My heated seat controls, and I've got 3 LEDs to let me know which one I'm set to. My shifter is not a standard shifter, it's buttons, and they light up as you go down, so that way you can tell what you're doing. So just keep that in mind. A lot of people, sometimes this throws them off. Now down here, it does have some traction control settings that I can do. So you can see normal and snow right there that I can go through, and that just affects how the car shifts to help alleviate some risk of losing traction on the car. And then this allows me to actually turn the auto on-off, so like if you come up to a light, and the car's idling, the idle stop, it'll turn the car off but leave all the electronics and the AC on. You can turn that feature on and off as you go. So it's just kind of nice to know that you can do it in case this feature bothers you. You can turn it off. But you will have to press this button every time you get in the car to do that. Not every stop, but just when you get in the car, you press it. That way, if you know you're going to be in rush hour traffic and you don't want it to do that, you can turn it off. So that's just how it works. Center console slides open. I do have some additional storage in here, and then I do have another power outlet and USB. So I got 2 power outlets up front, 2 USBs up front, and then I have the power outlets in the back and the USBs back there too. Up above me, I do have a auto dimming mirror along with home link, so I can control my gate clicker, garage clicker, all that stuff. I don't know if I can get right on there where you can see it. I can throw my moonroof back if I want with one touch, so that's how you do it. And then I do have some access to calling up with Honda as far as things like roadside assistance and control like that. I have some buttons up here that you can use. Accessing your roadside assistance is 100% free, but depending on what you want to do with Honda Link and the rest of that, there are some subscription-based things you can do with it, so just keep that in mind. It's something to be aware of in case you decide to use that, and you'll see Honda Link is set up right over here on the screen. It'll give me access to maintenance reminders, recall notices, and then I even have some controls now, like in my new Accords. I can lock the doors, I can unlock the door, I can remote start it from my phone, so they're going to give you some trials of some of this stuff, but if you want to continue it afterwards, it would depend on what you pick, on what you keep. So that's a quick rundown of the car. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can always call me at 512-443-4300. You can email me at the letter J, and then Fuller, F-U-L-L-E-R, at howdyhonda.com, or you can comment on the YouTube video, and I'll get back to you. Thank you much.